This happened to me last winter, and to this day I still wake up in the middle of the night to check if the door to my apartment is locked. Back then, I worked night security at a large logistics warehouse located outside the city. The warehouse was massive. A giant metal hangar filled with thousands of pallets stacked nearly 3 stories high. The job was mind-numbingly boring. My only companions were loneliness, the constant hum of industrial refrigeration units, and the dim glow of distant ceiling lights. Winter made everything worse. Outside the window of my small office, which we called the aquarium because of its glass walls, a snowstorm raged, cutting me off from the rest of the world. From 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., I was the king of my own small, dead kingdom. My routine was simple: coffee, monitor check, more coffee, a physical patrol of the warehouse, and repeat. I knew every corner of that place, every rack, every glitch in the old surveillance cameras. I was a rational person. I didn't believe in ghosts or anything supernatural. At around 2 in the morning, during my 3rd cup of coffee, I noticed movement on the monitor showing camera 12. It was the far end of the warehouse, Sector F, where some old spare parts were stored. I laughed quietly to myself. Probably a rat, I thought. I blamed it on fatigue or a trick of the light. But the silhouette didn't disappear. It was blurry, almost vibrating in the air. But it was there, between 2 rows of tall shelves, clearly human in shape. A chill ran through me, and it had nothing to do with the temperature in the office. I grabbed the radio. Control, Sector F. I'm seeing movement. Copy. Only static. Hissing noise. I tapped the radio. Nothing. The partner who was supposed to be on the other side of the building wasn't responding. I called his phone. No answer. Now it wasn't funny anymore. My only line of communication was dead, and something was out there in the warehouse. I grabbed my large maglite flashlight, my keys, and slowly stepped out of the lit aquarium into the half-darkness of the warehouse. My footsteps echoed across the concrete floor. Only my footsteps, no other sounds. I walked fast, forcing myself not to think about why the radio had gone silent, or why my partner wasn't picking up. I focused on the task. Check Sector F, find the intruder, call the police. The flashlight tore square patches of light out of the darkness, illuminating dust dancing in the air and endless rows of gray boxes. Dozens of meters. Hundreds. Sector F felt farther away than I remembered. Felt like I'd been walking forever. The silence became so oppressive that I started hearing my own blood rushing in my ears. Finally, I reached the spot. I raised the flashlight and swept the beam between the shelves. Empty. Nothing. No footprints in the dust. No overturned boxes. No signs that anyone had been there. I walked back and forth along the aisle, shining the light into every dark corner. I even looked under the lower pallets. Nothing. Damn it. Just exhaustion, I muttered. Relief washed over me, mixed with irritation. I'd wasted time because of my own imagination. I was about to head back to my office when I felt a strange metallic taste in my mouth, and a cold draft brushed past me. Even though all the warehouse gates were tightly shut, I turned around. The walk back felt shorter. A few minutes later, I rushed into the aquarium, shut the door behind me, and finally felt safe. I sat down and took a big gulp of cold coffee. The radio crackled to life. Yura, where the hell were you? I've been calling you, my partner said, irritated. Just doing a patrol. Radio was glitching like always. Everything's clear? I replied, trying to hide the tremor in my voice. I leaned back, exhaled, and looked at the monitors. The silhouette was back. Same place, Sector F. It stood perfectly still, facing directly into camera 12. Pure animal terror flooded my body. I had just been there. There was no one there. I blinked hard and looked at the timestamp in the corner of the screen. Time was moving normally. I grabbed the mouse and started rewinding the footage from camera 12, trying to prove to myself that I'd seen the figure, then gone to check. 2:05. I'm sitting in the office drinking coffee. 2:07. I stand up and grab the flashlight. 2:08. I leave the aquarium. And then, the footage cuts. The next frame shows me already sitting at my desk, exhaling heavily. 2:54. Almost 45 minutes of my patrol were simply missing from the surveillance recording. But the worst part was this. The silhouette in Sector F remained on the screen the entire time, while the footage skipped over my visit. I sat there, staring at the monitor, unable to move. 45 minutes of my life were gone from the digital record. I couldn't remember what happened during that time, only fragments of the walk to Sector F and back. The silhouette didn't move. It just stood there. Cold sweat ran down my back. I no longer felt safe inside my glass office. If anything, I felt trapped, like something was watching me. I didn't dare go back into the warehouse. I didn't want to lose time again, or face whatever the camera showed but reality didn't. I just sat there, eyes locked on the screen until dawn. At around 5:45 a.m., the silhouette finally disappeared. It didn't walk away. It simply dissolved, as if it had never been there. When the day shift arrived at 6, I looked like someone who had seen a ghost. Pale, shaking, barely able to stand. I tried to explain everything to my partner and the manager. They looked at me like I was insane. Yura, what are you talking about? Were you high or something? What silhouette? The manager said, rewinding the footage. The recording was perfect. No missing time. No glitches. I leave the office. I patrol the warehouse. I return. Everything is there. But I knew what I had seen was real. Before fully daylight, I decided to check Sector F one last time. Maybe I was looking for proof of my own madness. And I found it. In the exact spot where the silhouette had stood on the screen, there was a cardboard box, completely destroyed. During my first patrol, everything there had been perfectly orderly. The box looked like it had been torn apart from the inside. Old, yellowed papers were spilling out. I picked one up. It was an inventory report dated 1998. I didn't wait for explanations. I quit that same day. What was it? The ghost of a former worker? A glitch in the warehouse system? Or my mind, broken by isolation and silence? I don't know. But I do know this. Some places don't want to be disturbed at night. And I will never work night shifts again.